Ready.
Right, today we're going to build a 20-inch rear hub with a Shimano 3-speed hub. We get our rim and we put it in front so the spoke hole's on the right there of the valve hole. Pick the hub up. We put 9 spokes. Now usually we put it on this. I've always put it on this side. You can put it on either side, but just the habit, I always put it on the opposite to if it's got a cog on it, it'll have the cog on it. Put it on the opposite side. So you just place one of those in each second hole. Little fingers here. Every second hole. The 36 hole wheel. Okay, that's the 9 spokes. We're going to have 4 lots of 9. If it was a 28 hole, we'd have 4 lots of 7. So just pick any spoke, and we keep that hub to the left-hand side. So the right-hand side hole, put it in there. Screw down the nipple down a bit, and pick up the next spoke. And you don't let the hub turn. You keep the hub to the right hand side with the sprocket on that side, and you miss 3 holes, put it in the 4th. Just pick up the next one and do the same thing all the way around. Miss 3, put it in the 4th. Next spoke, miss 3, put it in the 4th spoke of the 4 lots of 9. That's the first lot of 9. Just turn it over like that. Place your next lot of 9 in here. Anywhere you like. Just twist it around like that. Just make sure those heads are sort of sitting down in the thing. And you come back, it's going to be over 2 and under the 3rd. You go over 2 spokes and under that 3rd one, and because we're on this same side of the rim, you put that, start off with your first spoke. So this is starting the second lot of the 9. Cold weather's not helping. You pick up the next one, over that one, under this one. So we're still working on this side of the rim. Over 2 and under 1.
You continue that all the way around, Les?
Yeah. That's the last one of the second lot of 9. Sit down in there a little bit.
What are you doing now, Les?
Just finishing these off.
Well, you need to explain.
Okay. So that's the first 2 lots of 9. That's half the wheel built. So we turn it over like that, and we have the valve hole facing to the right, on the right hand side. You just pick up one spoke, called the balance spoke, it's the most important of all. And you go above, you got the valve hole, a spoke hole, and you go to that spoke above it, and you follow it down, and you come down and place this on the right hand side of that head. You can see that's the head of that particular spoke that we're talking about, which is that spoke there. You come down, and that's called the balance spoke. It goes in there. I've had one come apart up here, so I'll catch up with it. That's the balance spoke. All wheels are the same, no matter what they are, except radial spokes. This fell out. I didn't screw it up enough. That bloody cold. Now that's the balance spoke. Valve hole, the hole above it, then the spoke above it. You follow it down and you put it right in between the right hand side of that head, and that's called the balance spoke. Just pick up these other spokes, place them in every second hole. And just work your way around. You pick up that next spoke, hold it like that. That was your balance spoke. And you miss one and go in the second one. And you follow that pattern all the way around every second hole. Next one up, miss one, put it in that one. Next one, miss one, put it in the next one. Miss one, put it in the next one. Miss one, next one. That's your third lot of 9. Third lot of 9. Down a bit. So we just put the other 9 in here. Opposite side.
Ah, so where are you putting it? Down the bottom, not the top?
Here, down the bottom. Same as we did on the other side, over 2 and under the third. Work your way around.
What did you say? Over the third on what?
Over 2 and under 1. Over the third, and over 2 and under the third. Okay, now. On our last spoke, over 2 and under the third. That completes the lacing of the wheel. Tighten them up now. Okay. I would start off at the valve hole here, and I just do one side at a time. What I'm doing is I'm screwing the nipple down to the bottom of the thread, so they're all even. If you do that with most wheels, I think it's gives you a starting point. And they end up being even. You screw the nipple down to the bottom of the thread. Finish tightening up this side, the nipple down to the bottom of the thread. Just whip it over, start on after the valve so you know where you've started. You don't lose track of it. Just tighten them up to the thread, nipple to the bottom of the thread. To the valve hole, and of course they're still all loose, but that gives it, they're all evenly tightened to the same thing, same way. So we'll just tighten each one up, tighten them all up now. So I'll just go around and give them a couple of turns, each one. If you're building a lot of these, you'd know exactly. You could probably bring the spoke up to the bottom of the groove there, but because we're just doing one of, we would learn that as we went.
So they're still not all the way down, Les.
Right.
And that's because... Why is that so?
Because I haven't built one for 40 years, and if I'd have built the first one, then I know what I'm dealing with. I would have normally brought that up to the bottom of the thing there, but I haven't done that, so I'm just going to go with what I know.
Okay.
So that's 2 turns for each one that I've done. So now they're loose, of course, still, so I'll give them another 2 turns. All the way around. We're onto the last one now, near the valve hole. That's the hole 36 been tightened up again, another 2 turns. So they've had a total of 4 turns so far. They're still a bit loose. You'd always find that these are called the wides here, and the wides, they're always a little bit looser than the others. So what I do, I go around and I'll give those wides a turn, just 1 turn, just to tighten them up a bit. So they're every do those 2, they're the wides, and then this 2, and do the wides. If I had been building a lot of these at one time, I would have worked out, instead of giving it 4 turns, I would have brought that thread, the top of the spoke, up to the bottom of the groove. But of course, I didn't know that because it's quite a long while since I built one of these. It was just a bit of trial and error. It's getting there with the tightness. Spin it and see how it's going. Got a bit of a wobble in it. That's okay. So we'll go over and put it in the truing stand now.
Oh, hang on.
If you didn't have a truing stand, you could put it in the back of a bicycle frame and do the same thing. I've put a bit of white cardboard under here so I can see better. You can see it's got quite a wobble in it. We'll endeavour to get that out now. So where it's hitting my finger, you tighten up a little bit, and it's all trial and error. Tighten up a little bit there, and then just loosen it a fraction off, and you'll probably find that's loose anyway. So yeah, sometimes you can make it worse than when you started, but where it's out there away from my finger, you can also use these, but I prefer to use my finger because just a habit. See where it's touching my finger there, it's got to come over. I'll give that a turn. Hitting my finger again, so I'll bring it over.
I don't know how to take this.
Hitting here. It's away from mine. I want it to come back this way, so I'll pull it back this way because the spoke's on this side.
Please, I can't see anything. Oh, okay.
So it's touching my finger this side, so I've got to pull it back over, and that spoke's on that side. I'll just give that a little bit of a turn. It's getting there. Now while I'm doing that, I want to put the centering rod on it. See that it doesn't, the rim must be in the centre of between that nut and that nut. The rim has always got to be in the centre. So this centering tool, just put that on there and make sure that it hasn't, by truing it up, that it hasn't, and it is in the centre. So it touches that side there. It's got a bit of a gap there, but that's okay, and we'll see on the other side has to be the same. Just out of fraction, so that's okay. See the ups and downs in it? Anyone can true the wheel. It's easy to true the wheel sideways, but getting those eggs out, that's another story. I usually use my finger and go round. Where it's going to hit my finger, where it's hitting my finger, we have to pull that down. So these two spokes here, I'll give them a turn. Just by trial and error. Now these spokes are starting to get a bit tight because they're steel nipples on a steel rim. They tend to bind. So what I've learned over the time is to spray them with a bit of WD-40, and that just makes them spin a bit better, a lot easier. Go back to the eggs now. bring this up, might be a bit easier for me. See, put this more cardboard down in there, it's very hard to see. I've got my plate here to see where it's touching. You can go by hearing it too. It's scraping on there, so they've got to be pulled down. These are the two that have got to be pulled down. These two there. Another one here. And while you get these eggs out, that's going to cause another buckle. So I've got a bit of the eggs out, so I'm going to go back to the buckle now. Got it pretty true now. Most of the eggs out of it. There's a little one in there, but it's just about impossible to get out. Well, I can't get it down anyway. So once you true it up like that and you think it's just about there, what I do, I go around and I stretch the spokes just to make sure they're all sitting down inside there. Start off at the valve hole and work your way around and just check it again for trueness. That's pretty true. I'll just spin it. I'll just check it for the centre again. It's got a couple of threads there on that side. A couple there, so it's in the centre. It's important that that rim is in the centre of there, as I've said, because if it's not, when you put it in the frame, when you place it in the frame, you'll find that this rim will be over to one side, you know, for your brake blocks and so forth. So that finishes they're nice and tight, finishes the wheel being built. Thank you.